Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Pain in Your Assets podcast. I am Stella Bee on air. I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia, specifically at the Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, on my way to the American Black Film Festival in Miami Beach, and my flight was magnificently delayed. So I figured I would go ahead and record another episode while I'm here. Atlanta actually has a very colorful airport. Myself coming from a fellowship with the Chicago Community Trust, where I was a fellow for 2 years with their fellowship in arts and culture management, and they have some quite interesting exhibits here in the airport in the various concourse areas. Right now I'm standing in front of one that's called the Generation Pyramid, and I'm in front of this one because the topic of this particular episode is going to be speaking on contraception, specifically birth control. That's a topic that's been in the news lately, and I myself, for those who may have listened to some of my previous episodes, know that when I married, I was a virgin at the time, and so I had never taken birth control prior to that. My former spouse and I, we met in a very strict, sanctified church that not only did not allow fornication, but when I did finally marry, they didn't even allow birth control either. I think the presiding elder, he was trained as a Church of God in Christ, and his dad was Jehovah's Witness. So the ministry was kind of like a combination of those two ministries. But I don't knock the teaching though, because when you get into the word and the history and of the various paganistic holidays and so forth and the reasons why, I totally get it. It's just that now in this particular stage of my life, I've came to the conclusion that when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans and do your best to incorporate Christ into your life. And so that's basically the doctrine that I've decided to adapt. But anywho, yeah, I am here at the Atlanta airport, and speaking of birth control, the topic, just wondering for those who do take it, or the various forms that are out there, and why. Me, myself, because I was not allowed to take contraception, when I did get pregnant, because it was inevitable, unless you're barren, but if you're not taking birth control and you're having sex, you're going to get pregnant. And so I was one of those teenagers that basically started having acne as a teenager. Like from the moment I probably got my first period, I started breaking out. And so it would have its mild stages, and other times it was more severe. But as I came into adulthood, I was still having mild stages of it until I got married and got pregnant, and my skin completely cleared up. My hair grew, and I was like, whoa, what is this? Now, I know some women, when they get pregnant, they have the opposite effect because they already had clear skin, so they may have broken out and then the hair stopped growing. But mine was opposite. My skin cleared up, and then my hair started growing. So I knew from that point that my acne was definitely hormone related. After I had 3 pregnancies, 4 children, which is why I'm standing in front of this magnificent exhibit here, this particular exhibit is from, the curator is from Zimbabwe, and it speaks of Generation Pyramid with its 4 figures of different ages, reminds the viewer to honor every stage in life. And even though I do have twins, and my other 2 are like what you call Irish twins, because they're like 11 months and some days apart, or like 11 months and 3 weeks. So they're like one week they're the same age, so they're called Irish twins. So I basically have 2 sets of twins, but they're all different. Like even the ones that shared the same womb with me, which of course they gave me all these mommy these very unique mommy packages that they left, but they're all unique in their own way. And so it's almost like being in a different stage of their lives. And so we weren't able to take birth control. When I got pregnant, my skin cleared up. So after, we weren't a member of the church. We left the church after that point, because I told myself after having the twins, I had to have a C-section, and I'm sure I would have rather pushed out 2 babies than to have gone through that. But because I did, I told myself at that point, there's no way I'm going to have any more children. There were other sisters that were still there that had up to 11 children. I couldn't do it after that. My body was just like, you know what, you're not pushing that nan one out. So we decided to leave that particular ministry. But because I knew that my skin was hormone related, I had started taking the birth control to assist with that. And that's why I'm talking about this particular topic, is because it's up in discussion now of whether that's something that may be taken away. And so I started taking it for that. And then later on, as I began to age, because I'm not 20 anymore, I was 24, 25 when I got married. 24 when I got engaged. I think I was 25 by the time I got married. It's been a while. I had a 20-year marriage. And the twins they're all in their 20s now. So that's been a long time ago. But so after that, now aging and started to go through pre or perimenopause, however whatever term you would like to use, and started having night sweats. And the night sweats were so severe that it got to the point where why even put pajamas on? Because I would literally wake up and complete just drenched. The sheets would be wet, my pillowcases, like everything, because I was sweating in my head from my toes. It was just horrible. And so apparently hysterectomies run in my family. Initially I was told it was fibroids. I had, I think, a fibroid embolization. That didn't work. The gene that I inherited from that side of the family, we were heavy bleeders, like to the point where you would have to almost have a pad and a tampon on certain days to keep yourself from messing up your clothes, your bed, everything. And so I had to end up having to have a partial hysterectomy, transparent moment, and so. Prior to that, the night sweats were just horrible. And so my gynecologist put me on birth control. So I was already on it, but I kind of tried to wean myself off of everything. And that, okay, I'm older now. Maybe I'm at the point where my hormones have kind of leveled themselves out and I can wean myself off of it. So the acne had kind of calmed down, but then the night sweats had flared up. So my gynecologist put me back on the birth control to help with that, and it did help. And then I ended up having to have the partial hysterectomy. And things were fine for a minute, and then all of a sudden I didn't have the night sweats as bad anymore, but I started having hot flashes, like my hot flashes, and I have them now. But when they first started, they were not just hot. They weren't just hot flashes. They were. My skin was, you could literally see like the redness, like on my neck and my arms, like how sometimes I'm African American, so you know how sometimes with Caucasians when they blush and some of them turn like really red and pink, and certain, that's how my skin was. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm black, I should not be pink. I shouldn't be red right now, what's going on? But it was the hot flashes. So again, had to go back on the birth control, and it helped with that. And so it seems like every time I try to wean myself off of it, it's something. It's either the acne or the night sweats, or now it's the hot flashes. And so I'm still sleeping naked because at night, without having the birth control, I'm basically just throwing the covers off. So I'm not 20 anymore, I'm not 30 or 40 anymore. So maybe once I get into my 60s and 70s, it might completely level off. But at this point, I'm still a woman, still going through these stages. And so I thought I would just come on and use this episode to share my story of why I feel that birth control is more than just contraception. Because, like I said, I attended a ministry that did not allow us to fornicate and also did not allow us to use birth control once we got married. So my point is that contraception, birth control, which comes in various forms, is used for more than just to prevent pregnancy. There are other uses in forms of hormone therapy as to why it's being used. And so that's my particular topic for today. And I also wanted to share this beautiful exhibit here at the Atlanta airport. There are several on the wall here. This is just one of the walkways. There are other concourses that have various artifacts or sculptures or paintings as well, but this one is, I believe this is Concourse T that I'm in. I think I started off in C and went to A and now I'm at T. And so because my flight is, as I mentioned, delayed, I'm going to go and visit a couple more, but thank you for tuning in. Again, I am Stella Bee on air. If you would like to visit my Amazon page, my books are still there for purchase. My website is under construction right now. It will be back up again soon, but all of my social media pages are still there and my books are still on Amazon. Thanks for tuning in.